At least once a week, a student asks me, "Why aren't you a real teacher?" My story and honest answer coming up. Apparently, there are real teachers and there are fake teachers. According to popular opinion, substitute teachers are fake. Therefore, since I'm a substitute teacher, I am fake. And I'm perfectly happy with that. When I quit my high-stress, well-paying job 2.5 years ago, I thought I wanted to be a real teacher. In my mind, that meant creating elaborate lessons filled with history and philosophy and engaging in meaningful dialogue with hundreds of students per day. So I got to work. Since my bachelor's degree was in philosophy and religion, I almost qualified for my state certification in social studies. All I had to do was spend another $3,000 on 2 upper-level college history courses. I chose a historical methods class as well as a class all about witchcraft in early modern Europe. In the meantime, I reactivated my substitute teaching certificate and got back in the rotation in my local schools. Shortly after I started subbing again, I accepted a part-time position as a teacher's aide at my old high school. It was this position that opened my eyes to what school has become, and it made me rethink being a real teacher. A lot of what I did involved handing out worksheets and helping students fill in the right answers. A lot of what the teachers did involved explaining the worksheets and then telling the students to sit down and shut up. It dawned on me pretty quickly that the modern school system has reduced teaching to using a copying machine and enforcing a long list of arbitrary rules. To be fair, there were a few teachers who, taught, but they were of the old guard, from a time when teachers were trusted to help a student learn with minimal force directives from a state government or a school administration. Within the next 5 years, the last few of these teachers will have retired. Left in their places will be classroom managers who robotically follow the instructions of their superiors while making sure all the students are kept in check. I finished those $3,000 history courses. I sent the required paperwork to my state's capital along with a totally necessary $150 administrative fee so some bureaucrat could tell me that I can be certified to teach in their precious schools. I then quit my aide position and went back to subbing every day. The pay was a little better, but more importantly, I wasn't under the direct control of the state anymore. Now I think of myself as more of an independent contractor. Which all leads me to my current situation. Why am I okay being considered a fake teacher among the classes I substitute in? Sadly, real teachers spend very little time actually teaching. From my observations, this is a practical matter. Getting up to 30 students, all of whom are there by force, to want to do the same thing at the same time is nearly impossible. What happens is that 10% of the time a teacher can teach. The other 90% of the time is spent dealing with absolute bullshit. That can range from telling Billy to put his cell phone away, to yelling at Mark to be quiet, to explaining to an administrator why a lesson plan isn't formatted exactly the way it's supposed to be. If I wanted to spend my time enforcing an arcane legal code and doing paperwork, then I would have become a prison correctional officer. I don't know, maybe there are some teachers out there who really love the feeling of power over others and who can't get enough of the nonsensical administrative structure. As for me, I don't believe threats of violence should be used to get anyone to learn. If I were a real teacher in a public school, I would be expected to conform to the system. That means promoting obedience to undeserved authority, discouraging individual creativity, and dehumanizing those I'm supposed to care for and educate. I can't stomach that. Outside of such a system, teaching occurs in a voluntary dialogue between 2 or more people, and learning happens through a free exchange of ideas, a conversation, not through a one-sided arrangement where you're told to memorize this or fail. Here's the bottom line. As long as people keep asking me, "Why aren't you a real teacher?" then I'll know I'm staying faithful to the ideas that I've expressed in this video. Thanks for watching.